Getting the check-in part of your business right with your clients is going to get better results for your business. It's going to get better results for them, which means more referrals, which means happier customers. And it's also going to allow you to build a better relationship with that client and coach them better, which is then going to keep them in your business for longer. So in this video, we're going to break down some of the common problems that coaches have with check-ins, how to actually set up a check-in, and the options you've got for delivering check-in feedback that's going to allow you to pick the right things for your business and not make the mistakes that most online coaches make when they start doing this kind of stuff. Can't do a video without a kind of monster. Right. If you stay to the end of this video, we're actually going to build out a check-in form for you that you can use immediately in your business, just to save you a bit of time. So the first thing we need to consider is the process of the check-in and how we actually explain it to a client. So one of the things that coaches get a lot in their business is clients not doing check-ins, not understanding what a check-in is for. We've called it a check-in. So we know what a check-in means. You've probably had an online coach before you started this. So you probably know what a check-in means. But Tom, Dick, Harry, Sally, whoever they are that you're going to be coaching, probably don't know what a check-in is or have never heard what a check-in is. And to be honest, the word check-in sounds like the last thing that I want to do after a busy week. So you need to start thinking of ways that you can change the name and change the perception of what a check-in is in order to get it right and get it across to your clients properly. So for example, if you're working with a busy professional audience, calling it a weekly results report, well, it's probably something that they're more likely to do because they're probably used to doing stuff like that in work. If it's something more holistic, you could call it a feedback session. You need to tailor what you call a check-in to your particular audience because that's going to increase the buy-in. The second thing that you need to do is within the sales process and within the onboarding process, you need to explain that this is the place where the actual coaching happens, that the day-to-day plans that you give them are things that are put in place to give them structure. But when they get to whatever you call it, the weekly report, or we're going to call it a check-in for the rest of the video. But when you get to the check-in, that's your time to unpick any of the issues that they've had. It's your time to make adjustments and make amendments, and it's your time to deliver coaching on the problems that they've had. Because they will have problems throughout the week. That's why people need a coach and not a PDF plan. So you need to make it very, very clear that this is where the coaching happens. So setting the tone and being clear about what the process is for is step one, because no matter how in-depth your form is, no matter how good your feedback systems are, if you cannot get your clients to actually do the fucking thing in the first place, then we're pissing in the wind. Right. Second point, the format of the check-in. All right. So you need to break this down into qualitative and quantitative stuff. If you didn't listen in maths at GCSE, don't worry, most people didn't. All right. Quantitative stuff is numbers, metric data. Okay. So how much they weigh, what the circumferences are, what their step goals have been, how many calories they've eaten. Okay. All the number related stuff. So you need to include all of this in your check-in. The problem is this is what people mostly focus on. All right. So your clients will expect the numbers to change. All right. The second half of the check-in, the qualitative stuff, this is like feelings and emotions and how they've been getting on and struggles. This is where the coaching really happens. All right. This is the kind of output data. And this is what some people will be hyper-focused on, especially, if you've got a slightly older male audience, this is all they'll care about. Just be numbers, 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 numbers. So this is where you need to think about the kind of clients that you work with. Some kind of clients, you actually, if they've got previous issues with the weight and things like that, you might not even use that side. You might focus more on the qualitative kind of stuff. I like to have a balance of both in my generic check-in form. And then if each individual client needs something slightly different, I can move that around. All right. But a good check-in process will have both the qualitative and the quantitative stuff so that you're getting all the thoughts, feelings, emotions, struggles, joys, wins, benefits, and you can actually tie it back to the data and the numbers to make sure they're actually doing the inputs that are going to get the outputs that they want. So structuring that, what I would generally do is start with the feelings first, start with the qualitative stuff and finish with the quantitative stuff. The reason for that being, if you get them to do the quantitative stuff first and they don't get the kind of result that they want and they're not happy with the numbers, it can really negatively affect the rest of the feedback that you get and it can not be great. Not everyone's going to lose weight every week. Not everyone's going to have a positive week. All right. So if we look at maybe celebrating things first, look at what they've done well, look at what they've improved upon, look at things that they're proud of, it will set the tone for the rest of the check-in to be positive because you still have to motivate people. You still have to engage people. All right. The check-in process isn't for you to tell them what they've been doing wrong. It's also to celebrate what they're doing right. Okay. And this comes into now when we're going to start talking about how we deliver feedback. All right. So feedback needs to be constructive. Now, I'm going to get quite deep on this because I used to be a school teacher. So giving feedback was literally like 90% of my job. Ofsted would tell you it's 100% of the job, but we're not going to argue about that here. So giving feedback is something that I've had a lot of experience with, and I know the kind of what good feedback is and what poor feedback is. All right. So once you've gathered all the data, once you've got all of that stuff, you need to deliver feedback to the client. Now, depending on how premium your service is, depending on what kind of clients you've got, and depending on what format they like stuff in, you can do feedback in any way you want. You can deliver it via email. You can do it via a video. You can do it on a phone call. It doesn't matter, all right? There is no gold standard because different people prefer different things. I've, got a couple of clients that work with really, really high-end doctors and lawyers and things like that. They don't want a video from you because 9 times out of 10, they don't have the time to sit and watch a 7-minute video. They'd prefer an email report because they're used to reading fast, all right? And then they can do it in the office where they don't have to have the headphones in or keep it on low and do this. Like they're reading a text message that they shouldn't. So think about how your audience want it delivered. Don't just do what your other coaches are doing or what you're seeing other people do. Think about what your clients actually want to get back from it. And also think about your lifestyle, right? If you're here, there, and everywhere and traveling about and you're using this to have a bit of a laptop lifestyle, don't do video. You don't need somewhere where there's perfect audio, perfect video, and perfect internet connection quality. Like, you want to do something that's a little bit easier for you to manage in different places because consistency of feedback is the most important thing. So now that we've got the kind of format out of the way, the next thing we need to talk about is how you structure the feedback. So this will depend on the pillars of your program and what you really focus on, right? So there's going to be an overall area, and then there's going to be the main things that you focus on within your coaching program. Now, I'm just going to pick a generic one, but generally there'll be 2 or 3 things that you really focus on for your clients. For example, training, there'll be nutrition, there'll be their lifestyle and habits. And then the last thing you want to do is like the overall results of the week and things that are going to change. All right. So the way I would structure it is I would go in, and what you want to do is you want to do kind of one thing that's good, one thing that needs to improve upon, and then set them a task and a target for next week for that area. So you would go in, we used to call this in teaching what went well and even better if. So what went well with the training that week? So give them a compliment, praise. Even better if. So this is the thing that we really need to improve upon to take that next step with the training. Here's a specific target that you need to hit to improve that thing. So don't just say, we need to improve on your training intensity. That's fucking great, but it's open-ended. That's not coaching. That's just telling them they need to improve the training intensity. Setting them a target. Okay, we need to make sure you're, working 1 rep away from failure every single set this week. That's a target they can hit. That's something that you can measure against. Okay, so what went well? Praise. Even better if, measurable target. You do the same thing with nutrition. You do the same thing with the lifestyle. And then with the results, you then talk about how they've gone. All right, where they are on the timeline of their whole journey with you. So how they've progressed to their ultimate goal. And then you need to make any amendments and talk them through the reasoning behind any changes that you make into the training program. So by the end of the check-in, you've got 3 things they've done well, 3 things they need to improve upon. You've got 3 actionable targets that you can hold them accountable to. And then you've got an overall review where you've explained any tweaks and amendments to the plan. That for me, again, there's other ways of doing check-ins, but for me, that's a really simple, easy, and formulaic way to deliver great feedback to make sure that they've got everything they need to succeed for the week after, and also that you're in a timely fashion, that you have some sort of system that will allow you, when you eventually get to 20 or 30 clients, to just work in a rhythm and deliver outstanding feedback across the board rather than, occasional brilliance. So what we've done is we've put together a template sheet for you to use for a generic coaching program. So it will be nutrition, training, lifestyle, but that's what most people will start off with. If you want to do anything fancier, you can amend the form, but we'll give you the template that you can use. It's on a Google form, so it's absolutely free for you to have. We haven't built it on a fancy form builder that you have to pay for. All right. And you can download that. You can use it as a template. You can build out your own check-in form, and that will allow you to start giving A-star feedback to your clients tomorrow. So hopefully you found that video very useful. That is something that genuinely people pay thousands to business mentors to try and teach them. All right. You just got it for free. So please implement it in your business. Let us know how you get on with it in the comments below. So if you've got any questions that you want us to answer, just drop it below and we'll get through them all. All right. And don't forget to do the thingy and the other thingy. I keep fucking forgetting what it is though. That one subscribes. That one is a bell that does something. So do that one as well.